Welcome back to the Bam Bam Motorsports YouTube channel. So this video is probably one of the most anticipated videos on this channel. About 6 months ago, I made a video of the Btobi handheld stick welder. And when I made that video, I never dreamed that it would get as much traction as it did. This channel has less than 1,000 subscribers, and we still managed to reach about 43,000 people with that video at the time, as I'm shooting this video now. This is right before Christmas. I think it's December 19th. And one of my biggest comments on that video here recently has been, will you do an update video on it? And it has been about 6 months, so it's time to do that. This welder has actually served me very, very well. I have ran probably 25 or 30 pounds of rod, various rods through this welder, be it 60-10, 60-11, 70-18, even a stainless rod. I don't know the number on it. That stuff was actually given to me. I have repaired hay wagons, balers, trailers, truck beds, flatbeds. I even welded a set of traction bars on the pulling truck. The mounts, I welded those to the axle tubes with it. I've really put this thing through its paces is what I'm getting at. And not one time has this thing given me a lick of trouble. It has never overheated. If the overheat circuit works on it, which, I don't know at this price point. I mean, it's got an overheat light, but, if it works, that's to be determined. But I've never had it come on. The most I've ever ran at one time with it, I ran about 2 pounds of 70-18 with it, cranked wide open, just rod after rod, trying to get a repair done out in the field. Guy actually split a truck or a trailer frame right where the goose connects to it with a load of hay on it, and we were just trying to get it out of the field. And I ran, like I said, about 2 pounds of rod through it and no issues whatsoever. And believe it or not, that trailer is actually still on the road today. Not so much on the road, but the farmer does still use it. I get a lot of questions. One of the biggest ones that I get is, with it being the pistol grip style and kind of bulky, what's that like to use? And I got to be honest with you, I actually like it. It is kind of like having a pistol grip or a thumb hole stock on a rifle. To me, I feel like I have a lot more control with it because I don't have very steady hands. I shake a lot, and being able to have a firm grip on what is technically the Stinger has actually served me very well. Not everything is great on it though. I do have a few complaints with it. The main one is how the electrode gets held in it. This is just spring loaded, and then you put the rod in the end of it. Well, you can actually move the rod around inside of it. I think the spring on this needs to be made a lot stronger because as you're using it, sometimes it'll actually break connection in here, and you'll lose current, and it'll either stick a rod or you'll just have a crappy place in your weld. Also, the trigger on this thing, when I first got it, was pretty tough to pull. Now it's a hair trigger. You barely breathe on it, and the trigger is engaged, which is how you send current through this thing. If the trigger's pulled in, this has current, and you can strike an arc with it. So sometimes you'll find yourself with heavy gloves on, kind of striking an arc where you don't want to. Also, if it's plugged in, no matter whether it's turned on or not, the fan runs all the time. And it's kind of loud, but that's not a huge deal. But my main complaint, this cord. The cord is pretty heavy, but it's only 3 feet long. So anytime you go to use this welder, you have to use an extension cord. And it takes a fairly thick extension cord to run this thing. So just keep that in mind. People ask, does it trip a breaker or anything? I have 20 amp breakers in the shop, and I've never tripped one. My old shop, the little shop across from this one, had 15 amp breakers, and I never tripped one of those either. But I also didn't run it for long periods of time on a 15 amp breaker. So I can't really say. Most people are going to have 15 amp breakers, so just be mindful that you may not be able to run full power for very long times. People also ask, what is the intended use for this welder? And it's simple. it's for the homeowner, the DIY type of guy that would throw this thing up on the shelf and maybe pull it down and unzip it 2-3 times a year. I use it a lot, but only because it's in my shop. If it wasn't here, if I hadn't bought it for the last video, I don't know if I would have went out and tried to buy it to just use it. I bought it to make the video. And to be honest with you, for those of you that watch that video, you've seen it. And if you haven't, go watch the video. But I never expected this thing to work at all. And in the middle of that video, I kind of had a revelation type of moment where I just kind of hung my head and said, you know what? I was wrong. It works. And it does work. It produces quality welds. It claims to be an inverter welder. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never, tore it apart to look. But it may be. It may be an inverter welder. But this thing is for the hobbyist. I mean, you're not going to throw this thing in the back of a truck and go hit the pipeline with it. That's not going to happen. But if you want to throw it, in your toolbox on your trail rig, perfect for that. I mean, you Jeep guys, you might throw it in the back of your trail rig and use it out on the trail. If you, say you break a control arm or something along those lines, or, well, we're talking about Jeep guys here. If you split the frame in half, or the axle falls out from under it, or the motor twists in the engine bay, or the wheel falls off, this thing would beat the hell out of 2 12-volt batteries, some jumper cables, a coat hanger, and 16 pairs of sunglasses. And on that note, I have ran this welder with a generator. I have one of the 3,500 watt Predator quiet generators, and it ran it just fine at full power. As a matter of fact, that trailer that I repaired was run off of a generator the entire time. I wouldn't go much smaller than a 3,500 watt generator, though. I mean, it was really bogging my generator down. It never quit, but she was struggling. So yeah, I mean, in the 6 months that I've had it, other than the few minor issues that I just mentioned, really none whatsoever. Still works to this day. I use it as much as I possibly can because it is so small. And like if somebody pulls in here in the driveway, wants a quick repair or whatever, it beats the hell out of dragging out the TIG welder or the MIG welder and dealing with the wind blowing the gas away and that sort of thing. You just pull this thing out, stretch out a cord and go at it. And it works well for that. So with that being said, if this video gets about as much traction as the last video, I think what I'm going to do is buy a shit pile of rod and run this thing until it dies. I'm going to run rod after rod, probably not doing any quality welds, just running stringers on flat plate wide open until something happens. Either it overheats and shuts off, or it catches on fire, or it catches me on fire. I mean, hell, we'll keep a fire extinguisher close and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for the last video, taking off the way that it did. And hopefully this video gets out to the people who were wanting to know, about the update. I mean, it was literally every day. When are you doing an update? When are you doing an update? And I've been pretty busy. We built this new shop. I took a new job that has me traveling a little bit more. I haven't been home much and haven't really been able to shoot the video. But anyway, this has went on long enough. There's your 6-month update. Share with your friends and comment if you want to see me do a torture test. Comment if you want to see me do something else. I strongly consider getting a small TIG kit for this thing, hooking up some gas and trying to figure out a way to hook a TIG torch to it, and maybe just one of the thumb type on-off gas deals, and see if we can TIG with this little unit. But let me know what you think, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and like, share, and subscribe for me, guys, and we'll keep pumping these videos out the best we can. But anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, guys, stock is never an option.